Bwana usehemu rafiki yangu wewe, katika safari yangu twatembea na wewe, pamoja na wewe, pamoja na wewe, katika safari yangu twatembea na wewe, mali hapa siku ili niheshimiwe, yanani kutema shaka sawa sawa na wewe, niongoze safari mbele unichukue, mlango ni mwa mbinguni niingie na wewe, pamoja na wewe, pamoja na wewe, mlango ni mwa mbinguni niingie na wewe. Asanteni sana, tafadhali tuketi.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a strong feeling that now again the church has come back to politics. And I'm seeing that in 2027, most likely the church is again going to play a very critical role in the Kenyan politics. Why am I saying this? Let me take you through some simple events that occurred within the Kisii region. There is a bishop by the name Bishop Mairura. He's from the Kisii County Diocese, I think. This gentleman, recently he came out literally to speak in support of President William Ruto and castigate Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i's candidature within the Kisii region. He spoke and said that William Ruto is the person he knows who has helped him. He even gave a history on when they met first. He even went ahead to say that William Ruto is going to be voted in 2027. In general, he supported William Ruto immensely. A bishop to declare his position openly, yet he knows his congregants can be from different sides. That is daring. That is real politics. Secondly, the Catholics in Kisii, they are much aware that they have a huge influence in the Kenyan politics, especially the Kisii politics at large. So therefore, Bishop Mairura knows when he speaks in support of President William Ruto, there's a huge crowd that is swaying to consider William Ruto instead of Dr. Okengo Fred Matiang'i. And remember, he's doing this within the Kisii region. Now, another event that occurred is this. Recently, there was a funeral that was attended by Richard Onyonka. And a father literally cut short Onyonka's speech.
And I'm a Catholic, just like you. I've not said anything negative political. Don't make me, Father, I'm crying for this man. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Good.
But gave others time, especially from the UDA side, to speak and attack. Eventually, Onyonka was forced to walk out of that place. Fortunately or unfortunately, the congregants who were there, the mourners who were there decided to follow Onyonka and left the empty tents there. Ladies and gentlemen, the act of that bishop, or maybe father, to deny Onyonka time to speak, it's a clear indication that there is real participation in politics. That is from the Kisii region. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we have to remember one simple thing. There are visits that are occurring right now to State House by various church leaders, where William Ruto has come openly to invite them and sing. I remember when we had the demonstrations occurring in Kenya, in State House, there were people who were invited from a specific church for a function there. And William Ruto was being praised right, left, and center. A clear indication that the church will not be left behind. It will join the Kenyan politics seriously. For those who remember that recently President William Ruto was building a church in State House, there's now been alleged there is no church and that it's maybe a bunker that is being built there. But we all have to accept that William Ruto building a church in State House was tactical to sway the people of the church that is at least also considering them the status of Kenya. A clear indication that he is welcoming the church to participate immensely in the Kenyan politics. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that there will be strategic prayer sessions that are going to be made, where leaders are going to pray for President William Ruto for his success and especially for 2027. Also, we know that as we speak today, nobody goes to State House and comes out without something. Either it is a church leader or a common mwananchi. Now, from those signs, you can tell that church leaders are not going to be exempted in the Kenyan politics going forward. They have decided they have to participate. But what could be the reasons as to why these people have decided to support President William Ruto despite the cries of Kenyans after William Ruto had taken power? Number one, money. Money, money, money. Everyone wants money. Everyone who goes to State House meets President William Ruto, you're always given fare. Brown Bahasha before. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to admit here openly that there's nobody who goes to State House without some token. That is number one. So that takes people to State House. Every church leader wants, like, let me put my people together. At some point, I get seen, then I find myself where? In State House. Number two, church constructions. In Kenya, there are churches owned by individuals, others by unions. Unions like the SDA church and stuff. Those owned by individuals, they want the churches constructed. They grow their churches and eventually invite President William Ruto to help them build the churches. So for these churches to be built, they have to go there and, of course, pledge their loyalty to President William Ruto. A church right now in the country has become, to some extent, a business center. People taking money right, left, and center. If they are billionaires we're going to have in the future right now, they are the church owners. So therefore, there is sense of having a church. That's why they can do anything to have their churches built. Ladies and gentlemen, another reason is this. Some church leaders will be appointed to various positions as we speak. We have the EACC chairperson seat. That one has always been for a church person. Wabukala was there, a bishop. Now we have Bishop Ogind. With the time, you're going to have another bishop or maybe a father. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how it works. People want to be appointed in various positions. And how will that happen? By participating in politics, supporting their leaders openly, and eventually being considered when appointments arise. Simple and clear. Ladies and gentlemen, another reason is this. Power. There is power when you are close to power. There is power when you are close to President William Ruto. You are able to tell a regional commissioner to do something and he does. You are able to raise an issue and it is considered. Why? You are William Ruto's point man in the country as we speak today. That is the game that is being played, where leaders of the church are also working very hard to ensure that they have been considered powerful. Some of them want their kins to be employed in various positions. How is that going to happen other than pledging loyalty to President William Ruto? That is how it works. Ladies and gentlemen, people have also to create their power by going to the people with power. So that's what the church leaders are doing. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, when Bishop Mairuru attacked Dr. Kengo Fred Matiang'i, people said this car was old and is going to get a new one. But we've seen church leaders getting support for President William Ruto, especially financially. That is a clear indication that church leaders also want goodies. Some of them getting cars, some of them financial support, some of them being built for houses. So when someone wants such a kind of a support, what is the best thing to do? Wake up in the morning, preach, and support President William Ruto. When there's a rally, take your time and give support to President William Ruto. When there's a microphone that you're in charge, deny some people to the opposition and give William Ruto's people more time. When you have a function that is having so many people who have congregated, you take time to praise President William Ruto. That is basically what the church is doing in the country to ensure that they have been able to be considered by President William Ruto in every sector that concerns them, or maybe where they might be interested. I don't know what is your take as far as the church leaders are concerned, but please share with me if you also have the same feeling that the church leaders are now getting into politics. And I don't mean all of them. Some have decided to be actively involved. Others have decided to keep off completely. I don't know what is your take, but on the comment section, you can feel free to share with me on what you think, because that is how I get to learn. That's how I get to know what to do and how to even analyze my topics here today. My name is Abel Mekwa. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless you so much for supporting me to the 13,000 subscription mark. As we move to 14,000, sometimes to 20, please be part of the journey. See you next time for more videos.